Hello, everyone, and welcome to Armstrong in the Loop podcast. I'm your host, Seth Prentice. Today, I'm joined by Josh Meeder from Two Cameras and One Big Idea. Josh, welcome back to the show.
It's good to be back, Seth. Love joining you from across the country this time.
I'll tell you what, I know our listeners can't physically see you, but I am looking at you in front of a gorgeous mountains scene and a house in the background. Where are you doing this Zoom from?
I actually pulled into Manitou Springs, which is just outside Colorado. So I am sitting at the base of Pikes Peak and just climbed up to the top in a little residential neighborhood so we could do this from at the foothills of Pikes Peak.
How crazy is that? You are our second furthest person that has joined the show. Just a little recap for those listening. We last spoke in February of 2020 about all the great things you were doing in the Center of Harmony, which there are still great things happening, as well as thriving businesses. Since then, you've decided to embark on a new adventure, and I thought it might be a great time to fill the listeners in on what you're doing, hear more about your experience. With that being said, Josh, what have you been up to?
So a couple life changes. The Center of Harmony is still going strong. I'm still doing my work with Great Things LLC, but I made a decision to change some things personally. My son graduated from college this May. He got a great job. He's got an apartment, and I decided to sell my house. So I sold my house. I sold all of my belongings and decided to embark on a trip just to go across the country, travel, explore, and drive until I find a place where I want to land. So right now, everything I own fits in my Ford F-150 or in a 6x12 square foot area down at the Center of Harmony.
That is incredible. And have you always wanted to do this, or is this something that just came out of the blue and you were like, you know what, I want to go do this?
No, this dream has been coming for about 10 or 15 years. As Christian was a young man and growing up, I knew he was going to graduate college. I only have the one son. And I love traveling. I was real fortunate to travel quite a bit as a youth. My dad won a lot of conferences. So we've been across the country, my sister and I and our family. And I love traveling. I love the experiences that you have on the road. And I've been really rooted in the Western Pennsylvania area almost all my life because of business and family. So this is my time for freedom, and I am taking the advantage of it.
Well, and before I forget, congratulations to your son. What an accomplishment, and hope for the best with his future endeavors. But back to your story here, where have you been? Where do you want to go? Where's the roadmap been so far?
Well, the roadmap is a funny concept because growing up, I've always been very direct, very planner, very methodical. And I decided to do this different since I'm uprooting everything. I wanted to keep it loose. So I've had intentions of where I wanted to be. And actually, after this week, I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to end up. But I did start up in upstate New York. I had a friend from North Carolina who I wanted to see, who happened to be visiting her mother at the lake house they have up in upstate New York in the Finger Lakes. So I started a couple days there, which worked out really well because at the Harmony Inn told me I had to come back for the Mug Club for something special. And I am really grateful for Bob and the folks there. I got awarded the Lifetime Mug Club membership. So it was good that I came back from New York and stopped through Slippery Rock and Harmony. And then from there, I headed south. I went down towards Kentucky first. I have a lot of friends and really love the Louisville and Midway area of Kentucky. It's just beautiful, beautiful country. So I spent a few days there traveling around, doing some walks and some hikes and meeting a lot of friends. So that was the first part of the trip. From Kentucky, I moved on across to Arkansas. And of all the places, one of the other things, Seth, I should mention, like I mentioned, is I'm really looking for what place in the country resonates with me, to get a fresh start. So I'm checking out places I know, I'm checking out places I don't know. So I decided to hit Little Rock. And let me tell you, I was shocked. I never would have thought anything about Arkansas. Like, it just didn't ever attract me. But Little Rock is a gorgeous city. It is stunning. They have a lot of arts, amazing food culture. I was really, really impressed with Little Rock. I don't know if I'm impressed enough to move there, but it'll definitely be something to get back to. I also jotted south from there to Hot Springs, Arkansas, and Hot Springs Village. Both pretty cool towns, but Hot Springs Village was an interesting place. It's one of the largest private communities or secure gated communities in the country, has about 17,000 residents. It has 5 lakes that are anywhere from 200 to 1,000 square acres, and it's expansive, and they have their own fire department, police department. They're this self-contained little community, and it was really a really cool little. I shouldn't say little. It took me an hour and a half to get through it, but I was impressed with it. Again, a little bit of humidity out there, a little bit rural. It was about 40 minutes outside of Little Rock and about 20 minutes out of Hot Springs, but got to give it to Arkansas. It was a beautiful, beautiful place. From there, I was going to stop in Oklahoma City. I have a friend or two there that we weren't able to make up. So I decided to make a big push that day. And let me tell you, getting through Oklahoma and through Texas is awful. It's like Kansas. There's nothing there. So that day I took 12 hours in the car and just pushed through to almost the other side of Texas, which helped on the trip. Interestingly enough, the next stop was Santa Fe. And as you know, the Center of Harmony is located right in downtown Harmony. We have a lot of great businesses there. Well, 3 of the women business owners from the Center of Harmony, Laura Donna, who has the coffee shop with Seth, the Wonder Bar. Laura Ellis, who has Bridges Acupuncture and medical acupuncture, and Danielle Danielle Sharps, who has Essential Exhale in the Healing House. We're all in Santa Fe. So we were able to meet up for an afternoon, have some swimming time, and have a couple cocktails and have a really nice drink and walk around Santa Fe. So it was kind of interesting just to run into our Harmony friends across the country.
What an incredible experience of, you're taking this journey yourself, and along the way you're either seeing friends or, like that experience of being able to stop and, see people from home to still give you that piece of, basically of, hey, this is where I'm from. And, they're still out here with me on my journey.
It has been. And one of the funny things, I mean, my 2 cameras and one big idea, that was, like, I should talk about that a little bit. Love photography, love video. So I always have my iPhone, I always have my DSLR. So I had a big idea of doing this, and I took 2 cameras with me. That's kind of where it came from. But one of the things that's really funny, Seth, is I've been going through, and I'll post pictures every time I pass a little town named Harmony. I've passed 3 or 4 of them already. So they're all across the country. Everyone's getting a kick out of that.
Well, let's talk about your 2 cameras and one big idea. People can follow it on Facebook. Are you in any other locations on social media?
Yes. I have a YouTube channel. I have Instagram. I have Facebook, and I have the website 2 cameras and one big idea. Now, my intention with the website was to blog as I go. But I've learned it's kind of challenging to create content and be driving. I've put in almost 5,000 miles here in the last 3 weeks. So wow. This week I'm hoping to get settled for a morning so I can get caught up on some of that. But yeah, you can find it anywhere there.
And we'll share the links with all of those, as I follow you daily, and I enjoy just seeing, you capturing life as you're living it, and what an opportunity to just go out on this and do it yourself. And I don't think people are willing to take a risk like you have, and just being able to capture what an opportunity this is for others to see, like it's worth taking this step in life.
It really is. I'm grateful that I could do it. And I'll figure it out from here. But it was something I've always dreamed of. It'll work out. And one of the interesting things from the road is not having a hard defined plan. Things really unfold smoothly. So from, leaving Albuquerque or Santa Fe, I stopped in Albuquerque, and I saw friends from high school that just happened to be there. And then just from there was in Sedona, caught up with another friend who actually opened her first business at the Healing House in Harmony. So there's all these cosmic connections. This last couple of days I was in Durango, got to do a lot of hiking. I got to see the Petrified National Forest in Arizona, and it was just a whim. I saw a sign. I'm like, let's check it out. And that's kind of the best thing, is I go wherever the car is pointing, and sometimes I don't know. So from here, it's kind of open in the air. I might go up north and go through up Wisconsin in the Upper Peninsula, may go back south. I have to be home in July for a week. Then I'll fly out to Alaska to meet a friend. So I'm going to continue this trip probably through August into September. Haven't found the right place yet, but I'm still looking.
So let's do this one. What has been the best part of your journey so far, living a very more simplified life?
It's it's hard to describe, but it's the simple feeling of joy and freedom. Um, I am still doing my consulting. I'm able to check in with my clients, and I'm managing that well enough. But just being able to get up and go, to pull over to explore a state park or a national forest. One of my favorite experiences was in Sedona, sitting in a stream in nature, quiet for an hour and a half, doing nothing. It takes effort for us to do nothing sometimes, and I did it really well this time, so I'm quite proud of myself.
All right. And now the flip side. What has been your biggest learning lesson from doing this so far?
I'm I'm learning a lot on the realities of the nomad and the travel life. So I have been staying with some friends. I've gotten a hotel once or twice, and I know they can't see on the camera, but I'm wearing the Journeyman Hammocks t-shirt. One of my favorite hammock products is this Journeyman hammock that my friend Shane developed, and it's changed my lifestyle in camping. So I can pull over and camp anywhere. But getting in and out of the truck, I made a custom pull-out drawer slide so I can get to all my stuff. But it's the in and out every day, and the just accessing like where my clean clothes are or where the food is. And it's just a learning experience. So that's probably been the most interesting and a little bit challenging. The one thing I did notice is everything you think you need, you don't. I didn't buy a lot for this trip, and I'm kind of grateful that all the gadgets you don't need.
Has there been a part of this that you thought would be, maybe a little less exciting, but has turned out to be, something that you've really enjoyed and has, brought you further into wanting to continue this journey?
I would say the trip across the Midwest was pretty rough. Not rough. It's long and it's boring. It is mind numbing. But I've really found the flip side to that is the time to have the quiet mental space. So I can either listen to music, or I can put on an audio book, or I can just sit in silence. So the quiet time with myself for reflection has been really a gift.
Have you met anyone else during this trip doing something similar or living the nomad life?
Yeah, I've seen I've seen a lot out here. You can tell by they have the big ProMaster vans, and they got all the setups there. So there's quite a few people doing this. In Cortez, Colorado, where I stopped a few days ago, I did meet some folks from Texas, traveling with their RVs. So there's a lot of out-of-state plates all over the West here that whether they're living the nomad lifestyle or just exploring it more, the campgrounds are all filled up. There's a lot of people on the road these days.
Oh, that's great. Is there anything that you'd wish to, let people know back home about, how your trip's going, or any well wishes you want to give before we let you go?
Well, I'd just like to thank all the people that are supporting me, specifically all the wonderful shops at the Center of Harmony. It's a great group of business, and them being so good at what they do, my son being back there to support me, has really helped make this possible. And yeah, just follow along on the channels. But really, what you mentioned earlier, Seth, this is not something that everyone does, but I'd highly, highly recommend it. Take the time. We don't get this many chances in life.
No, and you're doing something for yourself that I'm even jealous of, going out there and just, being connected to life and not being in that crazy dog eat dog world every single day.
Yeah, well, I'd suggest it. You don't have to sell your house. You could literally take a week or two, start small, but if you want to go big, it's also, there's no looking back. And that's what I liked about it.
Well, Josh, I hope that we can connect with you again, maybe closer to the end of your trip, to hear some more stories, and some of the different sites that you've seen. And, maybe there's some other places that, we never knew were out there that just happen to be that little small part of life that everyone needs to go see. So maybe, we can connect with you later in August, September timeframe to catch up and let people know how the rest of your trip went.
I'd love that. Thanks again. It's always good to talk with you, Seth. Keep doing the great work back there in Butler County.
Thank you so much. For Armstrong in the Loop podcast, I'm Seth Prentice, keeping you in the loop. Are you enjoying Armstrong in the Loop podcast? Great news! All past and current episodes are available on popular streaming apps and websites. Search Armstrong in the Loop podcast and subscribe today.